So this depends to a large degree about what we mean by arts, right? If I think back to my European history education, I think back at very, very small communities, thousands of them, and every village had art, right? Art was there in the churches. They had their own little statues, their own little paintings. Art was there on the tombstones. Art was there inside homes in the way that cobblestones would be set. And so, for me, arts is much more something that is close to individuals anyway. Right? Everybody, to a certain extent, is an artist. And so, imagining a country without art is like imagining humans without breathing. I don't think it makes much sense to say you need a subsidy to have art. It's like saying you need a subsidy to remind people to breathe. They'll do it anyway. The question is of course much more, well, are there certain forms of art which won't survive without, as it were, communities buying into it? And I would say yes, there are some forms of art, and they have to do with the forms of art which supply things for the community as a whole. So something that no individual entrepreneur would value enough, or something that other people could not charge for. And a national museum is a good example of that, right? A national library. National symbols of our history is a clean thing which almost every country in the world, no matter how small, has a national museum. Right? So I reject the notion that there are such things as tipping points, or that it wouldn't be funded. It is more, if the Commonwealth would start funding it, states would start funding it immediately, right? Because there is a clear community demand for, as it were, symbolic art at the high level. So I'm much more optimistic about arts. I think that this tendency to say we can only survive if someone pays us is sort of, well, that brings the economist out of me. Well, prove that you are better than a McDonald's in terms of what you bring, right? They also sustain me. They bring meaning to my day.
And then I have a question for you based off of that.
Subsidy, prove that you're better.
So something that we go through in the U.S. a lot is, PBS is our main kind of arts hub, and the broadcaster of all arts, and that's always being threatened with their funds being taken away. So if you take away those, funds, and the arts exist, and obviously maybe not in the same scale, but how does that awareness of those arts continue?
Well, show me a society in which, and there have been many societies in which governments have completely shut themselves off from the arts. Right? What you will find is that the great artists of those countries will produce anyway. They'll produce for nothing, right? Because it is like a calling. It is almost like a priesthood, and it is almost